Well, hello everyone. This is Dr. Ayleen and happy Thanksgiving. And I am here in my home because I figured, well, I've got family stuff to do and things like that. So it was just easier for me to broadcast from here at the house. So if you hear barking in the background, that's just Sam. So first off, happy Thanksgiving. For those of you who are outside of the US, I just hope you're having a wonderful day. And I wish everyone a glorious, peaceful, and very family fun type of time. And I hope you get a chance to relax a little bit. The world has been a very stressful place, and for some a little more than others. So if you're going through a difficult time and it's kind of stressful for you, please take good care of yourself. So I am also broadcasting on Blog Talk Radio at the time, and I have my my Bluetooth on because I neglected to bring my headset from my office. So hopefully the Bluetooth is picking up enough and that it's connecting up and it can be heard in a good way. So I'm figuring that probably a lot of people are either involved in eating or traveling. So whenever you check into this, know that I'm thinking about you, that I wish the best for you, and I hope you had a good time. Now, as we start Thanksgiving, we go screaming into the holiday seasons. And one of the things that can be a little bit tricky during this time of year is that personal dynamics can kind of kick up, and maybe issues that have been sort of buried can come out, or it's just a time when there's a lot of chance for a lot of very spirited exchanges of ideas. And there's always the possibility that there may be some old stuff either from last year or other than that could be still hanging around. And I posted something on Twitter regarding letting go. And I've had a lot of questions about that. So I wanted to spend this time kind of expanding on what it was that I tweeted, which was about the idea that if you're trying to let go of an emotion, make sure that you've got it correctly labeled. And if you are having trouble of letting go of either an event or the emotion around an event or a person, what may be happening is that you've got it just mislabeled. So to explain, let's say you're dealing with a friend and you want to help them out. Well, if that friend is angry, you're going to be dealing with them in a little bit of a different way than, say, if they were just sad. If somebody's sad, your energy is going to be coming from a different place, and it's going to be about helping to build their energy up, where if you're dealing with somebody angry, then you want to calm them down. And it works the same when we're dealing with emotion within ourselves. Now, if you're having a difficult time, let's say you're angry at someone and you're having a tough time just letting it go. Well, it may be that anger is not the thing that you need to deal with. It could be that while anger may be the last thing you felt, it wasn't the first thing you felt. And it may be at the heart and past the anger, you're very sad. Because if someone has hurt your feelings and, really done something that kind of broke your heart or made you feel bad, that's a different feeling than anger. Anger may be the result of it. It's the symptom. But the actual problem is you're just sad. And when you can identify that it's sadness that you feel, well, then you can put your energy around taking care of yourself in a way that addresses sadness. It's sort of like trying to complete a recipe and you've got the wrong ingredients. Or in a way, it's like going to the pantry and all the cans are missing their labels. So if you need green beans for that totally awesome green bean dish with the cream of mushroom soup and the crunchy onion things on top, I love that. And if you're trying to make that and you pull a can off the shelf and that can happens to be corn. I mean, it's not like corn isn't a wonderful thing, but it's not what that recipe calls for. So the outcome is not going to be the same as if you had used the correct ingredient. And it's a very interesting study to take a look at what it is that really is going on inside of yourself, when, especially if there's something that you're having a real problem, you know, kind of shaking off, either the aggravation of it or the, you know, the hurt behind it. And it can be very empowering and enlightening to take a moment, stop, and really take a look at what you're feeling. Now, there may be an instinct, either, you know, because it's, you know, many of us grew up, it's like, look, it's the family time, just bury whatever it is, just don't talk about it so we can all have a good time. And I'm not saying that isn't a way of handling it, because it is a way. And the process that you need to go through is maybe one that you shouldn't go through with that person there, because then, you know, all the stories kind of start adding up. What you want to do is you want to get into a quiet space where you can just think without judgment, and you don't judge yourself either. You know, if you need to deal with angry before you can get to, you know, whatever it is that's really bothering you, then just sit with the anger for a little bit. Allow yourself to be angry. Give yourself permission to be angry. Get somebody who can sit and kind of hold that space for you while you're angry. And so you can just sit and vent and let it out. And then once that has a chance to, you know, let some of the pressure off of that and release some of that steam, then you can go into what you feel past that. And the idea that you can pick it apart, because see, once you start kind of taking it apart and really looking at it, just doing that by itself has a tendency to take some of the emotion of the attachment to it. You know, if we've been hurt, normally what we want is to have that hurt acknowledged. You know, under the best of circumstances, it's acknowledged by the person who hurt us. So if the idea that the sadness, which is what's behind the anger, can be alleviated with acknowledgement. And it is amazing how acknowledgement is able to diffuse a situation. And it can be acknowledgement with an explanation. It's best if it's, you know, like that first, it's like, you know what? I didn't realize that would hurt you, or I did, and I was in a really angry, hurt place myself. I shouldn't have taken it out on you. And I should have found a better way to communicate it. You know, I wasn't mad at you. I mean, how many times have we had conversations with people, either where we're the ones saying it or somebody else is saying it? It's like, you know what? I'm really sorry. I wasn't mad at you. I was mad about this other thing, and I just took it out on you. I'm really sorry about that. And see, that completely bypasses anger. It goes straight to the place of hurt, and that hurt begins to resolve, because what hurt us, there was acknowledgement. Now, not everybody is in a space where they can acknowledge. And sometimes, well, I don't see why you're taking such an attitude with this, or, you know, maybe you need to look it up within yourself, or maybe it's your problem and not mine. Well, technically, all of those can be true. And it's important to be able to say, okay, I need to look at how much of this belongs to me, which again is something best done not dealing with the person that you're dealing, that, you know, you need to deal with. When you're in that quiet moment, that non-judgmental moment, because, you know, we do create that thing. And one of the things that we, you know, that I know a lot of people do, and I've done it myself, is, you know, I should not be letting this bother me. I should be a better person than this. I should be above this sort of emotion. I should be, you know, for some reason we hold ourselves to a standard that is completely unrealistic. You know, the reason that it bothers you is not because of a lack of spirituality. It's not because of a lack of compassion for the world. It's because we're human. It's because we have within us the capacity to feel all kinds of things. Sam, hush. To feel all kinds of things. And one of them is anger. One of them is fear. One of them is love. One of them is compassion. One of, all kinds of emotions that we can feel. And we have to be honest with each and every one. If you want to get past the part that you're not totally proud of, it's like, wow, I'm really still resenting this person. And I don't know how to make it stop. I don't know how to redirect it. Start picking it apart. Start deciding what belongs to you and what belongs to them. And if somebody just, said or did like a kind of a crappy thing to you, it is human and appropriate to honor the fact that it was something that bothered you. Now, the degree to which you hang on to it, that's kind of up to you to decide. You can figure out whether or not it's something that needs to be addressed. If it's something where, yeah, maybe I was being kind of sensitive, or I know this person, and this is like one of the big things for me, is if I can take a breath away from the feeling, away from the gut reaction, then I can think to myself, okay, I know that this person loves me. And I know that under normal circumstances, they would not have lashed out at me. Or, they wouldn't have done whatever it was that was the triggering event. And then I start to think, wait a minute, if this is not how they would normally act, why are they acting this way? And usually it means that they're hurting. Because when we're hurting, we're not as patient. When we're hurting, we're not as compassionate. When we're hurting, when that inner child within each and every one of us is not in their happy place, then it takes the whole tour bus with it. And so considering that, it's like, okay, if I consider all the pieces to this issue, all the ingredients that are going into this recipe, what is it that I want to end up with? Well, hopefully I'll end up with something that I'm satisfied by and that I like and that I appreciate. And when we consider that everybody loses their temper, everybody is frustrated at some time. Now, it's really great if that person can come on their own and say, you know what? I really want to apologize. And if we're the ones doing it, because at some point we all are, the idea that, I really took something out on that person that they didn't deserve that. And, you go back and you say, hey, can I talk to you a minute? And maybe they're mad. And, I don't want to talk to you. It's like, I understand that. And I want to apologize. And not justifying it, not whatever. If you're doing an apology, make it a good, clean apology. And say, you know what? I chose to take something out on you. I didn't intend to, but I did, and I'm sorry. Now, that's the best case scenario. That's that scenario where it gets diffused and, then it's like, hey, yeah, whatever, we're family or we're friends and, but they may say, it's like, that really hurt. And you can say, I know. And I'm going to do my best for it not to happen again. And if it does, call me on it. And that conversation can be reversed. You can be having that conversation with somebody. Now, if they're not receptive to it, that's not on you because you took the steps necessary. Maybe, they're having a bad enough day where they react badly and where, it's just that was the one thing that pushed them over the top. Well, at that point, what you can do is you can, maybe call in somebody else and say, you know what? There's this thing between me and this person. Could you just go and make sure they're okay? And then you can have a neutral third party kind of, go, it's like, hey, what's going on? Are you all right? As long as that person gets to talk to someone to be able to say, hey, that person did this and it wasn't right. And I don't need that in my life right now. And it's like, you know what? You're right. You're absolutely right. Would you be willing to hear an apology from them because they want to apologize? And maybe, maybe they can, maybe they can't. But the important thing is that the dialogue opens up. When all of the feelings start being laid out and correctly labeled, then you can be able to move past it. Then things can be let go. I mean, I think most of us can understand that somebody was inconsiderate or that, they were hurtful, because we've all been on both sides of that. So it may be that it's more straightforward to resolve if you just go into that place of, I'm sorry. Or if that other person does that with you. If you really feel that you're due an apology, then go ahead, wait for the apology. And it's not about, well, just accept the apology, whether they mean it or not. That's not okay. You need to honor where you're at, what you're doing, and what you're feeling in the same way you need to be responsible for, what your part in it is. But that breaking down process, at first it can be a little bit tricky. At first it can be a little bit hard to separate the story from the reality of what happened, because as soon as an event comes into our energetic field, immediately there's something that has to be attached to it to put it into context. And maybe it's, you're having a real bad day and someone does something inconsiderate. And then it's like, oh, great, this is just another thing that is happening to me and I don't need that today. And then it becomes that, oh, the universe is out to get me type of thing. Because if we're having a really, really good day and if things are going well and, some little weirdness happens, somebody doesn't let you in, or somebody, tries or cuts you off on the freeway, or somebody says something kind of snarky. If you're in your really good space, there's a tendency to go, what's up with them? Whatever, I'm going this way. And it doesn't get taken so much to heart. Often it's when we're feeling vulnerable about something that things can trigger us, that things can hurt us the most. And that's where that conversation with yourself, to label what you're feeling correctly. Yeah, you may be, you're probably mad. And what's on the other side of the mad? Is it that, what? I believe that this person was my friend, or, they're a family member, and they go and, do something that is really hurtful to me. Sam, hush. They go and do something really hurtful to me. That's hurt. And you have every right to feel hurt. And it's important to really be honest with what you're feeling and have somebody there who can help you manage it. Now, after a while, you start doing this. I mean, it sort of becomes automatic. You feel in that moment, it's like, what the heck? And then, okay, let me start breaking this down. And once you start breaking it down, once you start taking it apart, it's not so overwhelming. It's not something that will cause you to react, as opposed to something that's come in that you choose how you want to react to. Because it really is important, and it's empowering to be able to choose your response. Now, maybe the choice for your response is, you know what? That person may have had a little too much wine tonight, and what they said was not okay, and I'm not going to deal with them. I'm not going to address it. I'm not going to, I'm not going to put energy into that. And it may even be, it's like, you know what? It's late. I think that I'm going to call it a day. I'm heading home. And that's okay. I mean, I would certainly say that at some later time when that person, has had some coffee and it's like, you know what? We need to talk. And I remember that, that was something, it was a phrase that I developed while I was, when I was married and in dealing with certain people. I always tell them, it's like, if I come up to you and say, we need to talk, trust me, we need to talk. And there's something that there's an issue that's going on. And so, when I was married, my ex-husband, it's like, okay, we need to talk, something bad. And, it may just be like, I didn't appreciate this, or, I'd like to know what you were thinking when this was said. But by saying we need to talk, it doesn't mean I need to yell at you. It means that there needs to be some communication going on here. There needs to be some connection here, because right now, we've got something that's a little bit off kilter in everything being all nice and happy and balanced. It allows us to bring ourselves back into that place of balance. It allows us to give ourselves permission to feel what we need to feel, because you have every right to feel what you need to feel. It's important for you to honor what you're feeling and what's going on. Oh, and I just noticed. Oh, Terry, hi. When my glasses are off, it's like, I think I see something. And then I put them on, and then it creates a glare. So happy Thanksgiving, Terry. I hope you're having a wonderful one. And just be gentle. Be gentle with yourself and be gentle with them. Because if this is someone who you are in relationship with, there's going to be something after this process. Either you decide, that's it, we're done, don't want to talk to you anymore. Or it's, you know what, it was not our best moment together. We've had worse, so let's just settle it and set it aside. I don't believe in burying things. I don't believe in deciding that it's better to hold that stuff inside yourself as a resentment, because, energy is neither created nor destroyed. It simply changes form. And when we allow that energy of resentment to build up inside us, well, that is, that's something that becomes self-destructive. It's something that just gnaws at you. And then at some point, there's going to be like one little thing that happened, and it's going to be a big blow up. By diffusing it and acknowledging it and accepting that you do have a right to be upset if somebody does something hurtful to you. Identify it, that you're sad that someone did something hurtful, towards you. And yes, anger is the byproduct of it. But look past what it is that the anger is hiding. What is it that the anger response is protecting? Because when we've been hurt, it makes us feel vulnerable. And, nobody wants to get hurt again. So anger comes up to become the barking guard dog to keep everyone away and to make everybody else kind of, hesitant to approach. But, behind the guard dog is fear. And worry that, wow, maybe I can't trust this person, or maybe they'll say something else to hurt me. And we feel vulnerable. And if you're going through a point in your life where you're feeling very vulnerable, I'm sorry. And I wish you the best. And know that, my thoughts and prayers, I don't care if I've never met you, my thoughts and prayers are with you. And I encourage you to talk to somebody about it. Find somebody that you can just sort of bounce things off, but don't let that stuff sit inside you. It's not going to give you the result you want. It is the wrong ingredient for the recipe. Now, unless your recipe is just to have that stuff built up inside of you, it's your choice, but I don't think that it's the best option, because it's not what serves you. And I'm just going to check and see what time is it? 2:24. So let go and appreciate the fact that you have choice in letting go. And it's easier to let go of something when you know exactly what it is that you want to let go. If you want to let go of anger, that's perfect if your issue is that you're angry. If you want to let go of pain, then you need to move past the anger to the point where the fear and the hurt is, and work with that as gently as you possibly can. Because that's not, we'll suck it up and get over it. No. All that does is feed more into anger. Allow yourself to say, you know what, it really hurt my feelings. It made me very sad, and it made me worry about whether or not I can trust this person. That vulnerability, that's that place where if you work it really, really gently and you open that up, that's where the growth can come in. That's where the empowerment can come in. That's where the opportunity for someone else to make it right. Or if you were the one who did it, for you to make it right. We can't, maybe we crack a joke and other people, somebody is really hurt by it. And it's like, well, come on, I was just kidding. Nope. That's not how it works. It's, I said something that was hurtful. I never intended for it to hurt, and I'm sorry. That's how it gets resolved. That's how we are able to let go. And even if that person doesn't say they're sorry, even if they just say, well, you just can't take a joke, then acknowledge within yourself, you know what? I have every right to be upset about that. And I'm not going to let the fact that they don't get it prevent me from, realizing that that's not something that's okay. And you can talk to somebody who can help you kind of vent and get your balance back. But it can all work out. There's a solution. I honestly believe that there's a solution for everything. You just have to be willing to find it. And like I said, once you get into the practice of letting go, then you can identify what it is that you want to let go of. Figure out why it's still being held on to. Is there an underlying feeling that you need to deal with in a different way? And how do you find resolution and move forward? It takes a little practice, but I know you can do it. So, happy Thanksgiving, everyone. And as I said, for those of you who are in other countries who don't do Thanksgiving, I hope you have a wonderful Thursday. And I will be back next week. And hi, Sam. Hi, Sam. So just so you guys can, here's Sam. Sam, say hi. Say hi, Sam. Hello. He just wants to make sure that I feed him before I leave, because I'm heading off to family. I'm heading off to see my youngest son, who's a truck driver and is almost never here, and he is in town. So that's very, very exciting for me. And to have a chance to look to people and talk to people who I don't normally get a chance to see. So I hope everything works out. If you have any questions or comments, you can fill them in the comments. I want to thank everyone who has subscribed. And it's so cool to see, that growing community. And if you feel that there was value in this, please share it. And you can follow me on Twitter, and you can also reach me through my Facebook group, Medicine Walk with Dr. Ayleen. So, blessings to everyone. And until next time, I wish you balance, and I wish you blessings. From my heart to yours. Love you. Have a wonderful weekend. See you next week.